Hi, everybody. It's Jay, and I am back in the booth with you for another sneak peek video preview for this week's new release here on Say With Jay. This week, our new release is A Cowboy's Big Dream. It's book number 10 in Jessie Gussman's Sweetview Ranch Western Christian Cowboy Romance series, and I've got more about the story and a preview reading for you in just a minute. But first, a couple of things. While the audiobook will be releasing here in our channel this coming Friday, that's also it's also the release date for the book as well. And if you are a fan of Jessie Gussman like I am, I hope you'll pre-order your copy of A Cowboy's Big Dream on Amazon or in the Amazon Kindle store today. Also, if you're interested, the audiobook is also available for sale. You can find it on Friday, or hopefully shortly thereafter, on Audible, Amazon, iTunes, or your other favorite audiobook source. Okay, now the second thing. As Jessie does, she has included a recipe within the scope of this story. Included a dish, And we thought it would be fun for me to make that dish for you here, in another segment we like to call Cooking with Jay. Now, today we're going to be making something a little unusual. Buffalo chicken pizza. It's the perfect answer to that age-old battle, do you want pizza or chicken wings? Well, let's mix them together. And without further ado, let's get started. Although, as always, don't worry about trying to copy down the list of ingredients or the directions in real time. I'll have it for you in the description of this video down below. All right, let's get started. Okay, let's take a look at our ingredients. First, you're going to need pizza dough. Now, you can use whatever kind of pizza dough you like, whether it's Pillsbury in a can like this, or like a frozen pizza dough, or even a pre-made pizza crust. You're going to need 4 tablespoons of butter. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of buffalo wing hot sauce. Now, speaking of this, it doesn't necessarily have to be hot sauce. While I'm using Frank's Red Hot sauce for mine, I know Frank's in particular makes a mild version, and I even saw, I believe it was Texas Pete that has one that is literally labeled very mild. So you can find buffalo wing sauce in a variety of different heat levels. Next, you're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. You're going to need 1.5 to 2 cups of shredded cooked chicken. Rotisserie chicken works great here. And just as a note, that measurement is for the chicken after it's been shredded. And by the way, all of the toppings are going to be a lot of measure with your heart kind of a thing. So these aren't hard and fast measurements for the toppings. You're going to need 6 to 8 ounces of mozzarella cheese. You can certainly use the bagged mozzarella, the pre-shredded kind. I actually found these adorable little mozzarella pearls, and I'm going to try using those today. You need 1/3 cup of blue cheese crumbled. You're going to need roughly 1/4 red onion sliced very thin. Then finally, you're going to need 2 green onions chopped thinly into little bits. That's going to be a garnish. So again, we'll be measuring with our heart on that one. For that first step, we're going to mix up our sauce. You're going to place your butter in a medium microwave-safe bowl, and you're going to microwave until it's melted. Then you're going to whisk in your hot sauce and your garlic until it's well combined. After you have your sauce well mixed, you want to reserve about 1/4 cup, and then add your chicken to the remainder and toss it until it is well coated. Next, you're going to follow whatever directions your crust has for any pre-topping preparation. For the dough that I'm using, you have to pre-bake it for 8 to 10 minutes at 400 degrees after you spread it out on your pan. Once it's ready, then you want to take that reserved wing sauce and spread it out on your pizza dough. As you can see, I'm using a pastry brush here, but you want to spread it out almost to the edges. Next, you want to add on your chicken. Spread that around. I think I got mine a little bit thick, but, again, measure with your heart. Do what you like. After you top it with your chicken, you're going to add your mozzarella cheese, your blue cheese, your red onions, and I forgot to mention this in the ingredients, but I also like to add some banana peppers to mine. Banana peppers are pretty mild. If you want something a little spicier, you can go with pepperoncini peppers. But you want to drain those before you spread them out on it if you like those. Again, no real measurement there, just measure with your heart. Once it's topped to your liking, bake your pizza for 12 to 15 minutes or until the crust is golden brown and the cheese is nice and melty. When it's ready, pull it out of the oven, give it a few minutes to cool, and then all that's left is to cut yourself a slice and enjoy. And there you are. It's a quick and easy dinner, and it's really delicious. If you like buffalo wings at all, give it a try. And if you do, please let me know how it goes down in the comments. All right, let's talk a little bit more about A Cowboy's Big Dream. A Cowboy's Big Dream is the story of Cooper Cordray. Cooper is arguably the world's biggest country music star who suffers a fall from grace, if you will, and needs a place to lay low for a while and nurse his injuries, I guess, of an emotional kind. And he decides to come to one of the cabins at the Sweetview Ranch. He's looking for nothing more than isolation, and he hopes North Dakota will provide it. What he doesn't count on is his housekeeper, Priscilla Clybourn. We've met Priscilla throughout this series, and Priscilla's life is certainly on the upswing in that she has solved her custody problems with her ex-husband and has been able to bring her children to the Sweetview Ranch to live with her. And while that's great, she is still alone. And while she is sworn off marriage again for sure, can these two wounded people thrown together find healing together and potentially something more? Well, to find the answer to that, you're going to have to come back for the full release this Friday. But for now, here is the opening of A Cowboy's Big Dream. I hope you enjoy it, and then come back this Friday for the full release here on Say with Jay. Cooper Cordray looked around the small cabin. It wasn't much, but he didn't need much. Not anymore. Although this wasn't anything like what he'd grown used to. Still, it was bigger than what he'd grown up in. He set his bag and suitcase down and walked back out to his truck to grab his guitar. Of the three things, his guitar was the thing he couldn't live without. Even before he became a superstar country singer, his guitar had gotten him through a lot of hard things that might have made someone else, someone who didn't have music, give up. As he had done over the course of his life, He pondered the idea of music and how odd it was that human beings were the only creatures on Earth who enjoyed something so arbitrary and abstract. It brought out strong emotions and swept people away. And people didn't just love to listen to it, but to see it performed in real time held a fascination that could not be explained. Plus, there was something even more stirring about actually creating the music to begin with. Nothing else in the world compared. Lord, why did you give me that gift only to snatch it away? He didn't really mean that, though. God hadn't snatched his gift away. God had just snatched his music and the career that had taken him a decade of dedication and commitment and hard work and daily grind to build. And it had taken the Lord to build that too, because there were tons of people who had worked just as hard as he had and hadn't seen the success that he did. He knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that without God, his career wouldn't have been possible. Still, he had been at the pinnacle, was just finding out the height that he could actually reach when everything came crashing down. Lord, why? As usual, there was no answer, and he grabbed the guitar out of the back of the truck, slamming the door shut, walking back to the cabin. It might be small, but it was the cabin his agent had booked for the next 6 months, and this was the cabin that he would use. He had heard that North Dakota winters were brutal, but he had been assured that he would stay nice and snug in this cabin. He had also been assured that someone would take care of his laundry, get groceries for him, and he would be welcome to eat meals at the big farmhouse if he so chose. He didn't want to see anyone, so he wasn't going to the farmhouse for anything, not even food. Although he didn't cook, so it could get interesting. He had been warned that North Dakota winters could make a person feel isolated, and he might want the company. But right now, all he wanted was to hole up and be left alone. The cabin was divided into 2 areas. The kitchen/dining room/living room area on one side, and the bedroom/master bath on the other side. It was new and smelled like fresh wood and cleaning products, and he took a deep breath. Yeah, this would be just perfect for him. There was a fireplace in the living room, gas, and one in the bedroom as well. The bed had way more pillows than he would ever use, and he decided that when the housekeeper showed up, he would ask her to remove all but 2. He would only use one to sleep with, but if he ever sat up on his bed, he might need a second one for his back. Beyond that, the other pillows were a nuisance. He set his guitar at the foot of the bed, along with his suitcase and traveling bag, and walked back out to the living room. A comfortable-looking love seat and recliner both faced the fireplace. A small table sat in front of the window with a view of green grass blowing in the wind. Being that it was early September, the temperature outside was warm, if not hot, the way it would be in Tennessee, or rural Virginia where he had been raised this time of year. In the mountains, it got cold at night, but the temperature climbed to quite warm during the day, with no humidity. It was his mother's favorite time of year. She always said the sky was bluest in September, and the air was pure, with the scent of winter on the wind. He didn't know about that, but the air in the mountains generally smelled different than the air in Nashville. Neither one of them smelled anything like the air in North Dakota. It had a wildness all its own. He liked the little front porch of the cabin as well, although he didn't go back out, but walked slowly to the kitchen, his fingers trailing over the small table which had 4 chairs, but barely enough room for 2 people. Anything bigger would have taken up too much space, since the kitchen was a nice size for such a tiny cabin. It had nice countertops. They looked like granite and expensive. There was a full oven and a large refrigerator and a good-sized microwave over the stove. The housekeeper was supposed to do his laundry, so he didn't bother looking for a washer and dryer, since he knew there weren't any. This was going to be his home for the next 6 months. This was where he was going to heal? He didn't know if he was going to heal so much as he wanted to write revenge songs, pour out his heart on the page, and in the next 6 months, he wanted to create music that would crush the music that had been stolen from him. His hands folded into fists, and he lifted his head, looking out at the peaceful scenery once more. He was not going to think about it. He'd spent enough time in the last 3 weeks ruminating over what Regina Blue had done to him. Hi, this is Jay, and thanks for listening. If you're ready for another great Jessie Gussman audiobook, here's one we think you might like. Or check out our latest releases. Don't forget to subscribe to Say with Jay, give this video a thumbs up, and tell us what you liked in the comments.